Hello and welcome to today's podcast from the Unmasked News Communities team. All week we have been writing the stories that matter to our communities. You can find out more by visiting the Unmasked News website. I'm Hayley Beth Molsom, and this week I have been looking at what volunteers in Churchtown and Innsworth have been up to during this pandemic. And with me today, as always, is
Alicia, and I've been looking at family relationships during the pandemic.
Hi, I'm Robbie Peckier, and this week I've been talking to a young boy in Cheltenham who's found an ingenious way to help homeschooling parents over lockdown.
Hi, I'm Billy Stone, and this week I've been looking into cold water swimming groups from around the UK.
So guys, my story for this week has been all about the responsibilities and pressures that come with being an older sister. In a lot of families, the older sisters are the one who take on a huge part of raising their siblings, from cooking them food and looking after them during the day, but that comes with a lot of personal sacrifices and extra responsibilities. During the pandemic, these siblings have been multitasking and doing more than ever. They've been full-time students, caretakers, chefs, sometimes even second mums. I spoke to 22-year-old May Fuentes about her experiences.
During the first lockdown, I was literally in charge of everything. So all the way down to his homework, like managing his time. It's quite difficult because I wasn't really used to being the teacher, but you kind of just you learn to just be one. But I guess it's just part of your responsibility.
So maybe I'm being a little biased, but I think the older sisters are kind of elite. But I've done a bit of research on this topic, and something I found super interesting was that research shows that having an older sister could be the ones to thank for your success later in life. But having a brother doesn't have quite the same effect. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, I know I've got my opinions. My head's a bit big and I'm feeling a bit smug, but how do you guys feel about it?
As an older brother myself, I think we need to see this research, really. We need to see the facts. I'm not sure I'm not sold.
I can send you the facts. I'll send you the research.
I have three sisters. I was raised by women, and hell, I don't know if I can really, if I really want to give all the credit to my elder sister. If I'm honest with you, Alicia, my elder sister is not the one that's the second mum in the household. That's for sure. But Hayley, what family dynamics did you have to compete with?
So I am the older sister. And I have to say, I think it does in a way. I was the one that did do like the chores of the weekend, and my sister, she was more academic, in a way, in terms of her achievements and, the things that she got up to in school and outside of school. And yeah, it probably was because I was at home to do the other bits that needed to be done while my dad was working, or while my mum needed a bit of respite after working in childcare all day. So she had the chance to do those extracurricular activities. So maybe it is right.
So what we're saying at the minute is we've got two non-elder sisters saying we don't agree with it, and we've got two elder sisters saying that they agree with the research, they're the best.
Oh, yeah.
How funny that.
I think you just got to be a cool older sibling, and they'll work out fine.
Well, I have a story of a young lad who I think would make an awesome older brother.
Tell me honestly, Sophie said, if you blew the stream into my bedroom when I was asleep, would I really and truly start dreaming about how I saved my teacher from drowning by diving off the bridge? More, the Yeti said, a lot more. But I cannot be scribbling the whole flanking dream on a titchy bit of paper. Of course there is more.
So what your ears were just enjoying there were the dulcet tones of my lockdown community hero, 14-year-old Oscar Mallet, who was reading a bedtime story to his neighbour's twin daughters via Zoom call. This started during the first lockdown of March 2020, when Oscar noticed the pressures of the pandemic on his next-door neighbours. He offered to read to the children every weekday night to give the parents a half an hour's rest after a hard day of homeschooling. And the neighbours gratefully accepted Oscar's offer, and he began to read to the girls Monday to Thursday nights, 7 till 7:30. And this carried on for months until the latest lockdown came in, and Oscar saw an opportunity to expand his operations.
We are definitely going to keep going with it because it's just really nice.
Don't say we, it's you. I'm not reading.
She's like my manager. She does all the advertising.
After enlisting his mother, Jane Mallet, as his social media manager, Oscar advertised his bedtime reading service on the Cheltenham Notice Board Facebook page to any struggling parent who felt they could benefit from it. 8 more families soon signed up, and he has since been collecting donations from them to go towards the WaterAid charity. He now reads 12 children a night, and it is unclear who it makes happier: the kids, who are transfixed to his reading and use of impressions and sound effects to bring the story to life, or the parents who just love the 30-minute break from their little darlings. It's a real win-win-win story, if you ask me, of a young lad helping out his community with his love of reading. So what were your guys' favourite books growing up?
I really liked the whole Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging series. I was obsessed with them. And I used to go into charity shops and I'd try and find them because they had a really distinct cover. And they were just written really crazy. They were like a teenage girl's diary. That was just a dream. I think my love of reading actually started there. It's probably why I do journalism, not to get too deep.
I must admit, I did used to love the Angus Thong and Perfect Snogging books, not because I read them, but because the main heartthrob is called Robbie, and that used to work wonders for me on the playground. Not that I was anything like the character or anywhere near an actual heartthrob. It did enough. It did enough. Bill, what were your reads?
Mainly Harry Potter. They take you about 7 years to get through each one, don't they? So yeah, that kept me going through childhood. And Alex Rider, I don't know, a bit more of a niche one, but yeah, he was a classic blonde hero type that I've always aspired to become and failed. So yeah, that was a great set of books as well.
I loved Enid Blyton was my favourite. You know, they're proper classics, but it has to be the Faraway Tree series, which were my absolute favourite. So, you know, the love of Toffee from Moonface and all the different worlds they'd explore always used to cheer me up. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, on a similar line to the Alex Rider books, the series that I used to really enjoy as a kid, and I was really upset didn't make it so well in the movies industry, was the Percy Jacksons. I love Rick Riordan.
You were going to say Percy Jackson.
Yeah, of course you did. Because their quality, Greek mythology is amazing. And, you know, transforming that into modern day literature was a golden move. Speaking of gold, Hayley, you had some golden community members that you were talking to this week, no?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So this week I've actually spoken to a whole range of volunteers in the Churchdown and Innsworth area of Gloucestershire who have worked in a local food bank, to a local councillor who's been rallying the community together. What I really found though is that a lot of the volunteers were just grateful to have something to do during the lockdowns. This was only reinforced when speaking to Churchdown Parish Councillor Mary Jordan, who has organised much of the volunteering, including the making of and painting of 250 concrete poppies.
This is what people were saying, like, oh, thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have this to do. And there was this massive mental health issue.
Where are these concrete poppies?
So they were in the villages around Remembrance Sunday, but she's actually painting a load more to brighten up the villages while people are on their daily walks now.
That's really cute.
But the whole sentiment of needing something to do was also reinforced by Jane Moore, who was one of Mary's volunteers who painted a lot of the poppies, saying that she just loved being occupied and feeling purposeful. So I guess, like, I know I've picked up a hobby in lockdown. I do a lot of embroidery now, but like, have any of you guys done anything to keep you going to help your mental health?
Well, I just got back from a 4-kilometre run before doing this podcast. Some jaws have dropped, and rightfully so, because I've never been a runner. Which is that's how you know lockdown got to me bad. That sense of purpose is so valuable.
Do you know what? I was so annoyed because that was exactly my answer. And do you know what? It's just as unbelievable because I hate like exercise, but I've started exercising and I absolutely love it. I've started doing these ridiculous dance workouts where, oh my god, they have me cracking up the whole time because sometimes you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and the reflection and you're like, oh my god. But I feel ashamed to say it's the part of the day that I enjoy now.
I normally exercise anyway, but I've taken up cold showers recently, which really do wake you up. You know, it might be a bit of a low lockdown morning, but a cold shower is sure to set you on fire, set your whole house on fire, to be honest, when you're streaming. And that leads me into my story for this week. So I've been looking around the UK at cold water swimming groups. Many of the people I've spoken to have taken it as a kind of focus over lockdown, and it really has helped with their mental health. It alleviates stress, activates endorphins, and it's also a great way to make friends. So I had a really interesting interview with the Blue Tits founder called Sian Richardson. They've started with 10 groups last year, and they've gone up to 90 groups now. Up to 6,000 members. So here's what she had to say about her group.
When we all get together and we've got the adrenaline going and we've just come out of the water, the stuff we say is absolute bloody rubbish. But it's good for humans to talk rubbish. You know, I've discovered that over 7 years. People just like to talk about nothing.
Very interesting, inspiring woman there. I also spoke to university student Minnie Harrop, who's made cold water swimming a habit after going in for 4 months straight in the first lockdown.
And this is what she had to say about the sea helping her mental health.
I feel like before the first lockdown, I did really enjoy cold water swimming, and I would always swim when I'm back in Cornwall, but I didn't have the same sort of dependence on it that I do now. Like now, I really sort of rely on that cold water swimming to like wake me up in the morning and make me feel like I can be productive for the rest of the day.
So I was wondering,
have you guys been in the sea at all this year, maybe last year?
So I have not seen a beach in 2020, but I did tell you guys earlier how I have also jumped in the freezing cold sea for a tenner. I'm proud of it and I'm glad I did it. It's freezing. I can't remember what I even spent the tenner on, but I am like, you know, if someone gives me a dare or something or a bribe, I'll probably do it. So.
Can we just flip back to mention how awesome that transferred into Billy's story there? We were just casually in discussion, and then out of nowhere, Bill just found his story in his answer. That's what
awesome. Journalism course does for you, Robbie. There's one thing I've learned.
There's a reservoir in Cirencester that, or I think it's like a sort of lake that during the sort of like first lockdown, we drove the car up and we parked nearby this like lake thing. We got a little set of those instant barbecues, and we sat by this with our feet dangling in it was pretty chilly water, and watched the sunset actually over this lake. We got some crazy good Instagram shots. Well, nice. There were some freaks in the centre of the lake swimming around, and I'll be honest with you, Bill. I thought when I said running for my activity, that was going to be the most controversial thing that was going to come up. Little was I going to feel that someone in here was going to say that cold showers was a cool hobby to have.
It's not cool, trust me. Give it a go. It will wake you up. I have to give my mum credit for this story. She goes in pretty much every day as well, and was very keen to be interviewed, but I said I'm afraid I'm gonna have to keep it outside the family. But yeah, full props to her. She's a very inspirational swimmer as well.
I can't believe you just left your mum out that story.
I'll name drop. If she's called Bex Hazard, she'll be happy with the name drop.
Not quite the sea, but we have a hot tub outside which rarely gets turned on properly, and for some reason my 7-year-old little sister-in-law is in it in the winter.
Is the hot tub on while she's in it, or is it just
like
a cold
patch? It is, but it's about 12 degrees most days. Yeah,
okay, I wouldn't do the same thing.
No.
I would not do that. Now for a tenner, I might. Well, that's everything from us at the Unmasked News Communities team. We hope you really enjoyed our podcast. And if you want to check out our stories in full, just head over to our website. But don't forget to subscribe to our social media too.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.